And without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest chef today. This is Chef Cesar.
Hi, everyone.
We're so excited to have him. Yes, yes. So you see the faces, you see the people who are going to be cooking with you. Chef Cesar has come up with a very simple, easy recipe for you. So we should be doing this pretty quickly. It's healthy, it involves vegetables and protein. What is it we're making today?
All right, so I understand,
You just keep going. That's just them
Oh,
talking.
okay.
Yeah.
I understand that everyone has a busy life, so I chose this recipe because it's pretty easy, it's quick, and these ingredients are very simple, and you can find them at any grocery store, even though it's Asian, but you can find this, of course, in Walmart, but any market, you don't have to go to any Asian market to find this.
Great. And so we're having chicken and broccoli.
So we're gonna have chicken and broccoli. So yes, this is a traditional Asian dish,
Okay.
and I actually love it because I grew up kind of like when I was a kid eating this, and this is the only way that I was able to eat broccoli.
Oh, was to have it in this dish.
Exactly.
So if any of you guys out there don't like broccoli, you're going to love it tonight after we make this dish together. So let's go ahead. You all have your meal kits in front of you. Go ahead if you haven't already. Get all your ingredients out, and we're going to let Chef Cesar take us through step by step what needs to go done.
Awesome. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we have here some onion, ginger, garlic, mushrooms, broccoli, chicken. I know you guys don't have this in the recipe. You don't need it. But, scallions just gives it at the end a little flavor, and also just to kind of garnish the dish. Okay?
Okay.
So then the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to start to cut your vegetables, okay?
Okay.
So we'll start first with the onion.
All right.
Okay, so this is, you can use a yellow onion. This is a white onion. I'd rather not use red because I think that the yellow has a little bit more neutral flavor than red.
Okay.
And that's not so spicy.
Okay.
So this is the reason why I chose either white or yellow.
Okay.
So the first thing that we do is that we cut the ends, and then we just kind of cut in half, right? Just like so. And then we actually, for this recipe, we just need half of onion.
Okay, so you can save the other half.
Right,
Use it
for any other
anything else.
dish. Okay,
Okay.
so then very easy. You take the skin, you peel it. Okay, let's put this
Let's go
right
ahead
here
and
for
get
now.
an overhead shot here, Madsen, of him chopping his
And
onion.
then, so the onion right here, you want it to be flat. You don't want it like this or like this because then, you can cut yourself. So just make sure that it's flat on your cutting board.
Right.
And then what you're going to start doing is that you're going to start to, this is what we call julienne. So it's just like very slow, right? Like so, Or you can go, if you have a little bit more experience, you can go a little fast. But then once you get to this point, just go like that.
Flip it over.
Yeah, and then,
And keep going.
right.
I can see some of them are out there dicing their onions, or you're julienning. You're not doing a dice at this
Right,
point.
so this
You're
is
just slicing
julienne.
it. Yes.
So then what
Okay.
we're going to do, this is what we called in the kitchen. This is our mise en place. So what it means is that we're starting to put everything together for the recipe. So the reason why we do this is just to kind of organize ourselves a little better. And then once all the ingredients are ready to go, then that's when we start cooking. So as
Okay.
you can see, julienne onions. Then we're just going to take a little bit of ginger. I think the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon.
Okay, let's go ahead and show what the ginger looks like. It's kind of an unusual looking.
Right. So ginger is a
vegetable.
root. It's a little spicy, but also very flavorful, and it's very good for you. So especially if you're sick. So this is a way that, a little trick, if you don't know to peel a ginger, just take a spoon and just kind of like go like this.
Okay,
And then it just
peel
takes,
it all off.
exactly, just takes the skin if you don't have a peeler. And actually, I think that sometimes this is actually even easier if you have a peeler.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there a recipe for one person only?
No, this recipe is to feed a family of 4. So you and your mom, Adrian, can have this, and you'll probably have leftovers, so you can have some more tomorrow too.
And leftovers are amazing, especially with Asian food.
They actually taste better sometimes
I
the
agree.
next day.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay, so now, once the ginger has been peeled, right? I know that you guys already have it.
Yes,
Grated.
you guys have your ginger. It's already grated in one of your little cups there. So it looks It looks like garlic, but it
now-
smells
right.
sweeter almost.
Sweet, yeah, it's sweet and a little peppery, spicy.
A little bit, right.
So I make a little incision on the bottom just so then like that same thing as the onions, stay stable. And then I just cut the little slices just like so, you know. Also for this recipe, if you want a little bit more flavor of the ginger, you can julienne and just leave the pieces a little long.
Right.
But if you want it a little softer, then I just recommend to either grate it or first create a julienne, and then we're just gonna
Then go ahead.
like
Moxie,
chop it.
Can we get an overhead shot if it's possible that we can see the cutting board here for those watching Chef Cesar?
I know I'm going a little fast, but
That's
you know.
okay. That's okay. Ginger takes, I think, it takes an acquired taste. Like it's if you haven't had it before, it kind of takes some time to really develop a taste for it. But once you do, you love it. And
Oh,
I've
yeah.
actually gotten to the point where, have you seen those ginger chips that you can buy? It's like crystallized ginger.
Oh, they're delicious.
Oh, they're wonderful. That's a healthy snack too for anybody out there. If you see ginger chips, that's a really nice snack to serve the kids after
And if
school.
for some reason you have a cough, or this is amazing also. This is a natural anti-inflammatory antibiotic. So you can take some ginger and just put it with a little bit of honey and just leave it there.
That's a great
And
idea.
then every morning or a night before you go to sleep, just take 1 tablespoon and it's perfect.
Perfect.
It keeps you nice and healthy.
Great.
Okay, so this, right now, this is already chopped, okay? So then I'm just gonna put it right here to the side. So what I'm trying to do is that gather all the ingredients so we can make the sauce. And one of the reasons why I'm doing all the vegetables first is because I wanna leave the chicken to the end.
Okay.
Just so then like that we don't cross-contaminate
Right.
the actual board.
Right.
So then the recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic. So I'm just gonna slice them real quick like so. Or same thing, you can take the clove and just
Smash it. Yes.
or grate it.
Yes.
And actually, you know, I like when you buy fresh garlic versus either in a jar or that already
It's already
comes
prepared.
yeah.
Right.
I
It
don't-
loses
the
a lot
flavor
of
is
its
just very
flavor.
different.
Right. And we've heard that said before, that if you can opt to get your own garlic, get your own ginger, chop it up, it's actually less expensive to buy a head of garlic than it is to go and buy garlic prepared in a jar.
It
So
is.
get used to chopping your own garlic, and now we've taught you how to do your own ginger too.
Or the other thing is what my wife does, and I know a lot of Latin American households have moro en pesto, or they call it molcajete.
Yeah.
And then you just take the garlic, or you know any ginger, chiles, herbs, and you just throw them there, and you just grind
And then
them,
you grind
and
it.
they're perfect because then
Yes.
it gets to release all those oils,
Right.
and it just preserves that
Right.
flavor. I love that too. Or the other thing that you can do is that if you have this and you want it to be very fine, add a little bit of salt. It'll start to release the oils, and it'll make it into a paste.
I didn't know that. That's a little hint there. I didn't know that. Great.
And as you can see, we don't have any salt for this recipe, and the reason why is because we have soy sauce.
And soy sauce is obviously very salty in its own nature, so we don't need salt. We're going to use soy sauce when
Right.
we get into the recipe.
So then, as you can see, it's already chopped. So now we have 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of garlic. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is that we're gonna make the sauce now. Okay. So I have here 2/3 of chicken stock, chicken broth.
Okay.
And you can put this in the microwave, or you can put it real quick in a stovetop. So you just want to heat it up. So then, like that, once you add the cornstarch and the sugar, it dissolves.
Okay. So we're moving on to making the sauce that goes with our chicken and broccoli. And just to repeat, you have chicken broth in your meal kits. We're using 2/3 a cup of chicken broth. Chef Cesar says, let's get that warm. It's going to help the flavors all come together and help that cornstarch mix in. So put it in the microwave if it's easy for you. Put it on 30 seconds, would you say, in the microwave?
Yeah.
We're using a stove and putting it in a saucepan.
So now we take the ginger, and we're just gonna add it here, okay? And one of the reasons why I add it here versus just cooking it here is because I want the flavors to kind of like infuse with the sauce versus sauteing it, and then a lot of times it tends to burn.
Okay.
And if the ginger and the garlic start to burn, then they become a little bitter.
Yes, they do. And I've made that mistake where I've burned my garlic before. I think we all have done that, and it does. It tastes very bitter. So we don't want to overcook the ginger and the garlic.
So as you can see, I have here already a teaspoon of ginger,
Okay.
garlic, and then we're just gonna pour. We're gonna pour the hot chicken broth, and then you
Right.
want to make sure that it's low sodium. A lot of times when you buy prepackaged chicken broth, it tends to have a lot of sodium, and it's very salty once it starts to cook down. Or you can make your own, which is even better.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got our hot broth, our garlic, and our ginger all in one bowl, and it's all coming together. So let's see if you guys are keeping up with us. Show us how you're doing. Everyone following along? Okay, yes, I see. I see.
Awesome.
Good. We've got it going.
So now for this, we're gonna add 2 spoons of brown sugar,
Okay.
1 spoon of cornstarch.
All right, and explain why we're using cornstarch.
Okay, so
'cause I don't think we've done that before.
Right. Cornstarch is a thickener.
Okay.
So the reason why we're using it is so it kind of like thickens, brings the sauce together. So that's the purpose of cornstarch.
And if you didn't have cornstarch at home, can you substitute flour, or what would you recommend?
You could use flour, but you will have to use it first. So let's say, for example, you have the fat, and then you add a little bit of flour, kind of creating a roux.
Okay.
And then you just take it off, and then
So
that
it doesn't
becomes
have that raw flour
right.
taste.
And cornstarch is pretty easy. It's fast, and it doesn't have much flavor. So that's one of the reasons why I like to use cornstarch better.
Right.
So then once it has been dissolved, the cornstarch and the sugar, we're going to add 1 spoon of soy sauce.
Okay.
And then, of course, if for some reason you feel that it needs a little bit more saltiness, a little bit more body, then add
could
a little bit more
Okay.
soy. And same thing with sesame oil. Another.
Sesame oil is a strong tasting
It
oil.
is, it is. And you want to be careful because,
right.
if not, then you're going to overpower the dish.
Right. So how much sesame oil did you use?
One teaspoon as well.
1 teaspoon. Okay, everybody. So you should have this already portioned out for you in your meal kits. You should have the soy sauce. You should have the brown sugar. You should have the cornstarch. What else do we? Oh, and some sesame oil. So
Right.
we put that all together, and it's creating our sauce.
And then here comes my favorite, or the star of the dish.
Broccoli.
So broccoli.
Yeah.
So this is how it comes.
Uh-huh.
And then what you want to do is that you want to take the stem. You can actually even use this, but it has to cook a little bit longer.
It's tough, right?
Right. So pretty easy. Same thing. It's like you take the broccoli and just cut little florets. I think that you guys already have it.
You guys are getting it easy tonight.
Right.
You already have your broccoli chopped up. So you can go ahead and open your bag of broccoli and get that ready.
So as you can see, I'm just like, and then you just come here, and then you just keep cutting, and then you don't want your broccoli florets to be too big. So then like that, they try to cook pretty fast since we're not going to blanch them, and then also they cook very even.
Right. Good. So if you notice any large florets in your broccoli, go ahead and cut them down to a smaller size,
Right.
like Chef Cesar is showing you right here.
So as you can see, and again, if you're a kid and you don't love broccoli, now you're going to love it. All right, so now we have the broccoli. I'm just gonna put it right here for now.
Okay.
And then, like I said before, I'm just trying to gather all the ingredients. So then like that, once we're ready to cook,
You got it
everything
all
is just
ready,
there.
yeah.
And one of the things about Asian cooking is that that's what you want. A lot of times like a wok chef, especially at my restaurant, all the ingredients are there and it's pretty accessible. So then like that, he's just throwing everything in the pan and
It all cooks
just
up.
cooking. Exactly, because you cook in very high heat,
Temperature,
so
yeah.
it cooks very fast.
Right.
Okay, so we have the broccoli. Now I'm just gonna cut some of the mushrooms, and these are button mushrooms. And then again, you can use whatever mushroom you want.
Right. We have a mixture of mushrooms out there. The button mushrooms are the white mushrooms, and probably the ones that you see the most at the grocery store. Some of you received some baby Bella mushrooms.
Oh, those are delicious.
And they're delicious too. So it's fun to kind of play around with different mushrooms when you
Right.
when you have fun in the kitchen like this and learn the different texture and the different taste.
Shiitakes are also delicious.
Mhm.
So what I'm doing here is just take the button mushroom and then just like so, cut in a little thicker. And then mushrooms also are delicious because it absorbs all the sauce and they're also very good for you.
Right, right. And these are nice fresh mushrooms. So you don't want to use a canned version
No.
of mushrooms. You would not recommend doing that.
You can use dry, but then you have to reconstitute them.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I don't know, they tend to be a little bit more pricey as well.
Right. Well, and I like this because what we're doing here is we're using a whole bunch of fresh ingredients. Obviously, we've got our broccoli, which is the star of this dish. We've got the mushrooms. We've got the julienned onions. We've got it all put together with this beautiful sauce. So you're getting your vegetables, you're getting your protein, and this particular meal, Chef Cesar, I have to applaud you. We always try to come in under $20 to feed a family of 4. And Cesar came in way under $20 for this dish. I think the most expensive probably ingredient is the chicken. And you know, sometimes you can find your chicken breasts on sale. I like to find them sometimes at Publix, buy one, get one, and I freeze a package and I use a package for dinner that night. If you don't want to use chicken breast, could you use a different...
Chicken thighs are
Chicken
delicious
thighs.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have the chicken breast. Since, as you can see, all the vegetables have been cut. So now I go for the chicken. And again, like what we've been saying, you just want to make sure that you have everything ready to go. Okay? So then the chicken, if for some reason it has a little bit of fat, just kind of trim it, you know? But if you want to leave it, it's okay. It's not gonna hurt anyone. So I'm just taking some of that fat, right? And then it calls for little pieces, right? So then what I do is I'm just going to take the chicken, right? Just cut right here in half,
Right.
right? And then another half like so, right? And then you also want to make sure that your knife is pretty sharp. And then as you can see, this is kind of like a little tenderloin. And then we're just gonna cut it into little cubes.
We can call them like 1-inch cubes.
Right. And then if for some reason you see one that's a little bit too big, just kind of cut it, same thing, same size, so they try to cook evenly.
They cook evenly, just
All right.
like you were saying with the broccoli.
Right. So then we'll do this. And then same thing with this side.
Okay. So everybody, if you're following along now, we're going ahead and we're cutting our chicken breasts into 1-inch cubes and putting it aside. We haven't started cooking yet. As Chef Cesar has said a couple of times, we're getting everything prepped because once we start cooking, it's going to go really fast.
Right. So then right here, you see, we just cut this right here. And then again, if you don't like chicken breasts, for some reason, you want something a little bit more flavorful, you can use chicken thighs. Or you can also use, you can use the same recipe for pork, steak.
I was going to ask you, are there other variations
Definitely,
of
even
this?
shrimp.
Shrimp.
So
Nice.
the only thing that you need is just make sure you have this sauce, and then whatever vegetables you want to add. Even if you want to add a little bit of bell pepper, you can add it. So it's a pretty simple stir fry.
Great. And we haven't done a stir fry so far, so we're excited. Now, while he's finishing cutting the chicken, I'll just explain. We've got a wok in front of us. And I'm not certain that you all have woks in your home. I actually don't have one in mine. I need to get one. But if you don't have a wok, this is a wok, you can use a large skillet, correct? And then the reason we want it large like this is because we want the surface temperature to hit all the ingredients as that we go forward. So if they don't have a wok, Cesar, it's okay to use a large skillet.
Oh yes, of course, you can use a skillet,
Okay.
definitely. You want something a little bit wider, so then
Okay.
like that, once you start cooking, everything starts to cook pretty evenly.
Right.
Okay, so I just wash my hands. Make sure you wash your hands after you cut chicken.
Your chicken.
Okay,
right.
so now we're gonna start cooking.
Okay, before we do that, I know you got to get your heat on here.
Yeah.
You're going to put the heat on high.
Well, okay,
correct?
so I'm gonna season the chicken,
Oh,
and as you can see,
okay.
I'm not gonna use any salt. Just
Okay.
a little bit of black pepper.
Okay.
Okay. And then another trick if you want the chicken to be a little crispy, you can take a little bit of this cornstarch and just add a little bit, right? And also this is going to help the sauce thicken, okay? And then you're just gonna come here.
Mix the pepper and the cornstarch.
Mix the pepper. And then I'm just gonna wash my hands real quick.
Okay, good. So while we're getting ready to the point where we're gonna cook, I wanna go ahead and open it up for any questions that you might have out there. If you have questions, you know you can use the chat box, or you can go ahead and unmute yourself. I think, Adrienne, you had a question before. Are you doing okay right now? Here she is, let's see. No, she seems to be doing okay. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself or go ahead and ask.
Questions.
You don't have a question? Are you following along okay?
Kinda.
Kinda? What step are you on right now?
Kinda broccoli. I already have the bowl mixed with the sauce.
Okay, good, good. Cedriana, how are you doing, dear?
I'm doing good.
Okay. You doing okay, Cedriana?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm chopping the chicken.
You're chopping the chicken. Okay, great. Oh, I see. Oh, I see broccoli. I see. I don't know who that is. I see Kenya. I see you. You all are busy in your kitchens. Thank you. Oh, yes, I see. They're getting ready.
Broccoli. I have my onion. And then I have the sauce here.
Excellent. Okay. Well, we're going to go
I have
ahead
a
and.
question here. What exactly are we using to season the chicken breast?
Just black pepper. And the reason why we're not using salt is because we already have soy sauce in the sauce. So if you use salt, it might get a little bit salty.
Too salty. So
Yeah.
just black pepper is all we use. Just a pinch or two of black pepper.
Right. So I'm just trying to get going. I think.
For chicken. You put cornstarch in there?
What is this?
As that looks to me like it's your ginger, Adrienne.
Oh.
That's ginger. That should be in your sauce.
Okay.
Okay.
You put cornstarch in the chicken?
Just a little bit. Yes.
Yes, Adriana, one of his tips, if you missed it before, is if you have a little extra cornstarch, go ahead and throw that with the pepper on the chicken. It helps the sauce come together better, and it takes out some of the moisture of that chicken.
Yeah, there's cornstarch. Because you said put a teaspoon inside of the sauce, right?
Yes. Just one.
Yeah, there's a lot. That was more than a teaspoon that was in that cup.
Okay, well, go ahead and just sprinkle a little bit over your chicken with the
You can
pepper.
use a teaspoon or a tablespoon.
Okay.
Again, the only thing, it's not going to affect the flavor. The only thing is that the sauce is just going to be a little bit thicker. And then if for some reason the sauce is too thick, once it starts to cook, you can add a little bit of water, and then it'll just thin it out, okay?
Great.
If we're going too fast, we can slow
Yeah, I
down
think
until
we're-
everyone catches up,
I think
and
we're
then we
doing
can go.
well.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
let's
So
go
let's go.
ahead.
I don't see ginger.
You don't see ginger. It's in one of your souffle cups, one of your plastic cups.
It's in the biggest, the big one of these.
Oh,
It
okay.
smells weird, and it's like a little bit in there.
Thank you, Cedriana. We're helping each other out. Yes.
All right, so now we have our wok or our saute pan already hot. You want it to be,
Really
make sure it's
hot.
nice and hot, okay?
Yes.
Because what we want to do is that we want to get that chicken a little brown. So we're going to put maybe about 1 tablespoon of oil. All right, and for this recipe, we're using canola. And you can use olive oil also as well. But I like canola because it's very neutral, but also it has a high smoking point. So when we're doing dishes that are stir fried, you want something that it's going to cook things a lot quicker.
Right. Good.
So now, as you can see, and then
We've
you
got-
want to make sure that you smoke it a little bit,
We got a very hot skillet going
right?
there.
So then we're going to add the chicken. And then that's the sound you want. You want to hear that sizzling sound, okay? And then just make sure you kind of spread it out so it starts to cook evenly.
Okay, great. So you should have your chicken in your hot skillet with that oil right now. Start working on that. I know some of you are still working on seasoning the chicken. That's fine, you can catch up.
And then right now what I want to do is that I don't want to mix the chicken. I just want to make sure that it gets a little bit of color on the bottom. Okay.
Okay. So, Cesar, tell us about some of the items you have on your menu at your restaurant. What are some of your more popular dishes that you like to make?
So our restaurant is Southeast Asian or Vietnamese, modern Vietnamese. So our most popular items on the menu right now is we have this dish called the PY noodles, and PY because of the name, you know,
Okay.
Phu Kia. And what it is egg noodles with oyster sauce, garlic butter, and Parmesan cheese.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a little take on
Like almost like a carbonara, only.
yes, but without the cream or
Right.
the egg sauce.
Right.
And people love it. They go crazy.
And it's just noodles.
Oh yeah, it's just noodles with Parmesan cheese, oyster sauce, and garlic butter. That's it.
So, you guys, that's a good tip. You're looking for another, even a side dish for something like this tonight. All he said was, hey, you can go ahead and cook noodles, little garlic, little butter, little Parmesan cheese,
Yeah,
and then
that's it.
oyster sauce. I know that we used fish sauce before. Oyster sauce, how would you describe that?
Oyster sauce, you know, a lot of times people get afraid because they're like, oh, oyster sauce, oh no.
Yeah.
But it's actually a little sweet and salty.
Okay.
So it has what chefs call it umami, the umami flavor.
Mhm.
That it just like it's very hard to describe. But if you were to, I guess, put an example, Parmesan cheese has that umami flavor.
Right.
So once you have that dish, it's kind of like a umami bomb.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. I'm gonna have to try that next time I go in. So we're working with the chicken. We're looking for it to brown. You all should hopefully have your chicken on the stove right now. We're cooking the chicken separate of all the vegetables. We're cooking the chicken first. So it's gonna take about, what would you say, about 5 minutes or so?
Yes. So yeah, especially at home, I kind of like this because this range is very similar to what maybe in terms of heat, what you find at home. In the restaurant, this would have been cooked already in 1 minute.
Right, it goes quickly.
Yeah.
Right, right. So tell us a little bit about what got you started in cooking and owning a restaurant. What inspired you?
So as a kid, I grew up in a underprivileged family, and we are an immigrant family. We came here from Colombia, and I was about 9 years old. And again, you know, my parents came fleeing the country when we were having a lot of issues with cartel. It was just Colombia during that time was having very hard times. So we came here for a better life. And then my parents, they had 2 jobs. I was maybe about 10, 11 years old. And then my mom used to leave me recipes. So then like that, when we came from school, I started cooking. And then so then like that, when my dad got home, there was already some food for all of us. So that's kind of like how I started cooking, just taking recipes from my mom and just
and putting it together
Exactly.
and ready to be on the table. And I think
Right.
a lot of our families out there can relate to exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, as you can see, many families cooking together, many children who are getting involved with recipes and cooking for their moms too. You know, you started at 10 or 11
I did.
and you've made a lifetime out
Yeah,
of it.
and then little by little, I started to fall in love, and then by the time I was 16, I started doing more inventive things and just coming up with all these crazy ideas. And then I started working in restaurants when I was about 17, because I think the age to be a server, you had to be 17 or 18. They wouldn't allow you, but then once I was able, I started working. And then I just fell in love with the whole industry and just seeing the chefs cooking different things and just the passion of everyone in the loft and just seeing people eat the food what they were creating. And to me, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, you knew right then.
Yeah.
So you went to school
I went to culinary school in Houston.
in Houston.
And then I started working for very good chefs in Houston and learning from them. I always said it, you know, if I wanna be successful, I need to learn from the best. So I started doing some research on who was the best chef during that time in Houston. in the best restaurants, the best hotels, and then I just started working for
Started
them.
working for them.
Learning from them while I was going to culinary school. And then little by little, I just started moving my way up.
That's great. That's great. I know we have some aspiring young chefs out there. I know our Adriana, who is on with us oftentimes, talks about how she loves to cook. So these recipes are designed to inspire you to cook something healthy and get used to cooking and have fun with it and be creative with it. And once you start getting, used to different ingredients, like we're teaching you about ginger and sesame oil, once you start understanding how to use those ingredients, you can start playing around with them. And as Chef Cesar said, instead of chicken, throw in shrimp. Instead of broccoli, throw in some red bell pepper or whatever pleases you. The idea is the cooking method,
Right.
and having the sauce that really pulls it all together.
Right. And cooking is fun. It doesn't have to be complicated, difficult.
Right.
As long as, I think, I always say, if you love what you do, you're going to be successful. And not only that, but everything's going to taste delicious.
Right.
Food, it takes the soul, it takes everything from you, whatever you put into
Into it.
That's how the
the
dish
love
is
that
going
comes
to taste.
Absolutely.
Is this okay?
Oh, Adriana, that looks good. Yeah, let's get an overhead shot, Matson, of what our chicken looks like.
So I was having a little bit challenges with the burner.
It's not fully cooked. It's just the outside that's cooked. Cooked.
That's awesome.
Okay, great. Yeah, so if you can, I see you cooking. That's great. We got it sizzling. If you're looking at ours, you'll see that most of the pink, we still have some pink. We know that we got to keep cooking it. We didn't have, Cesar was working with the fire a little bit. We didn't
Right.
have our fire on as hot as we should have.
Right.
But we're catching up now.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that it has a little bit of a golden color. Right now this is not too hot, so I'm just having a little bit of challenges. But as long as your chicken is fully cooked, then you shouldn't have any issues.
So if your chicken's already fully cooked, and Adrian, it looked like yours was almost there, go ahead and pull it off the
Right.
heat and wait for that. We don't want you to overcook your chicken. We want to make sure you get it cooked so it's brown, like Cesar was saying. But we don't want you to overcook it. So if you're a little ahead of us, go ahead and pull that cooked chicken off the heat.
So this is kind of like what you want right
Yep.
here.
Nice little brown bits.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're just having a little issues, but
Oh, it's fine.
other than that,
It's fine. It's giving everybody. I can see everybody out there with their skillets stirring. Oh, Cedriana, is that your baby? Oh my gosh, how sweet. Oh, wow, she's only a couple months old, or he's only a couple months old, right?
3 weeks and 5 days.
Oh, congratulations to you. So, see, you start them off real young. We start them off when they're only 3 weeks old. They're in the kitchen learning how to cook.
all right. So this is almost there. Okay. So now I'm just gonna take it off. And then same thing. Just put it to the side, and then we're gonna add a little bit more oil. Okay.
So in the
Same
same
amount.
pan.
Right.
So
You
we're
don't have to
taking
wash nothing.
You
nothing
don't
like
have to
that.
wash it.
No.
Just go ahead and take the chicken out, put it on a plate or a bowl, set it aside. Back into the same hot pan goes a little bit more oil.
Then we're gonna take the broccoli. We're just gonna throw it in there. Okay. And since the broccoli takes a little bit longer to cook, so this is the first ingredient that we're actually going to cook. Okay.
Okay.
So just keep, same thing, just mix it a little bit, okay, until it just becomes a little soft, but not all the way, because then the sauce is going to help it kind of cook
Finish
all the way.
cooking,
Yeah.
Right. Now this is interesting as a side dish, right? A vegetable on the side. Would you ever just make broccoli like this in a
Yeah,
skillet?
of course. Even if you want to leave this recipe vegetarian or vegan,
Uh-huh.
just do the broccoli and the mushrooms, and that's it.
And you don't
with the
need
sauce,
right.
and you don't need the protein.
And I like the idea of just, we're always looking for different ways to make broccoli.
Right.
And sometimes we take the easy way, and that's just put it in the microwave and let it steam. But I like the idea of using a hot skillet and some oil, and now you've got the mushrooms together. This alone is a wonderful side
Oh yeah,
dish.
of course. And as you can see, it starts to smell delicious. I actually lost the flavor of broccoli. Then we're going to add the onions.
Okay.
Okay. And then you just want to cook this a little bit. You don't want them to start to brown.
Okay.
So we're just kind of sweating the vegetables right now.
Nice. Okay, so we've got our chicken all cooked on the side. Now we've got our broccoli, our mushrooms, and our onion in that hot skillet.
And then we're going to add the chicken. And even with the little broth, that just the juices that the chicken released, that's perfect. And then you're going to take the sauce, just kind of stir it again, because a lot of times the
It
cornstarch,
settles.
yeah, it just goes to the bottom. Mix it a little bit. And then just pour it all over. That's it.
Wow. Great.
And then we just mix and just let everything just come together and just cook slowly.
So at this point in the process, how long do we let it cook once we add the sauce to it?
Not too long, maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
Okay.
That's it. So while that is cooking, okay, we had some rice going. And then, like we said, you can have this with rice, noodles.
Have it alone. You can have
Alone
it-
by itself
right,
is
right.
delicious also. And then I'm just gonna take this and then just take some scallion.
Now this is an optional part that may not be in your kits, but as Chef Cesar said before, and we've used these green onions before, you understand kind of the flavor they have and how they really finish a dish off nicely. So we're gonna go ahead and cut some green onions.
Right, so just kind of like a little bit, just like so. And then this is just going to add another dimension of flavor. And then again, and that's it. And then also if you have some sesame seeds, you can add some sesame seeds. And as you can see, the sauce, once it starts to come to a boil, then it starts to thicken, okay?
Okay.
And then that's what you're looking for.
So we're trying
Okay.
to bring our sauce to a boil.
Right.
Okay. Yep, and I can see how vibrant green the broccoli is. So we know that
Right.
that broccoli is getting nice and tender.
Right. And then again, one of the things I love about broccoli and mushrooms is that it acts like a sponge. So it absorbs
Takes
all
it
that
all
sauce, and then it just becomes so delicious.
Okay.
All
This
right.
smells wonderful. I'm sure all of your kitchens out there are starting to smell really good too.
And then if for some reason you feel that it needs a little bit of needs to be a little more salty, you can add a little bit more soy sauce.
Soy sauce.
And then if you want a little bit more nuttiness, you can add more sesame oil.
Okay. So taste it and see.
Right.
How's that tasting, Chef?
It's delicious, but I think for me, personally, you can add a little bit more soy.
A little
Okay.
more soy.
So I'm just gonna take, and I'm just gonna add.
Question, I'm a little bit behind with the chicken.
Cedriana, are you asking what to do with the chicken? Oh, yep, that looks good. That looks really good. Now what you want to do, I know you only have one hand there because you got a baby in your other hand, but what you want to do is go ahead and take that chicken out of the skillet, set it aside on a plate, and then use that same skillet to go ahead and put the broccoli, a little more oil, broccoli, mushrooms, and onion. Let that cook down for a little bit. Add your sauce at this point. Let it cook a little bit more, and then add the chicken back.
And again, this is the beauty about cooking is that, you become like a mad scientist.
A mad scientist.
And then, if for some reason it's missing something, you can add it and fix it. So that's why I
Right.
love cooking.
Right. And like you said, if your sauce is getting too thick,
Right.
just go ahead and add a little water to it.
Right.
But your sauce seems to be doing well. It's all coming together. Again, it's boiling and coming together, and that cornstarch is really pulling it into a thicker sauce.
And that's the purpose of the cornstarch. So.
Feeling
See,
good? Good.
for some reason, for me, it needs more soy. So then again, if you need to add soy, just add soy.
Right. Okay, everybody doing all
But
right?
you can taste the ginger
You taste all the flavors.
And the garlic,
Right.
everything.
Okay, let me see. I got some thumbs up there. Yes, I see. Good job. Everybody doing okay? If you have a second, do you have a camera you can put? Thumbs up. Good. Camera over your dishes. Let's see how you're doing. I see some great dishes out there. Yes. Oh, more thumbs up. Good.
And as you can see,
Chriselle,
this is ready.
thank you. Chriselle's showing us. Oh, yes. Oh, that chicken is nicely browned. Nicely browned. Again, pull the chicken out when you see it getting brown like that. Pull it out, set it aside because, oh, Adrian, you got yours going. You got the sauce in there with the vegetables. Good job. Adrian, yours looks like you're about ready to go ahead and add your chicken back in. You can go ahead and do that. Your sauce is thickening. Your broccoli looks like it's cooked nicely. So you can go ahead and put the chicken and put it all together.
There. You don't see it.
Yeah, I see.
And same thing, once the sauce starts to reduce a
Oh,
little bit.
Ray, good job. I see it. Nice job. You got the chicken in there. Good job.
You guys are killing it.
Yes, you
Wow,
are.
look at that.
See? How,
Oh, amazing. Is that Ray?
Yep, Ray's got it all going. That's great. And then you see up in the far top corner
Right,
somebody
iPhone.
else. Yeah, iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the lady in the orange tank top. Yes.
Amazing.
Good job, everybody. Okay, and so we're pretty much done,
Yeah,
right?
so this is ready. So we have
Okay.
some rice here that we cooked before. So
we're going to go ahead and serve this over rice, but reminding everybody you can eat it just the way it is. You can make some noodles, macaroni, whatever you have in your pantry, serve it with that.
and then we're just gonna take this. Actually looks delicious.
You're impressed. That's always good.
And then you're just gonna, again, you don't have to eat it with rice. You can eat it on its own. But I love to eat it with rice just because the sauce, and once you mix everything together, it just becomes so good.
Great.
All right, so I'm just pouring a little bit here, okay? And then same thing, you wanna make sure that it looks presentable. If you wanna cook like a chef. And then right here, like so. A little bit of mushrooms, a little bit more broccoli.
Beautiful.
And then we take some of that sauce and just pour it on top,
Oh, it does. It smells wonderful.
right? Okay. And then you can garnish it with some sesame seeds, some chopped scallions,
Great.
and that's it.
That's
And
good.
then
We got an overhead shot of that.
there you go.
See? Beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful. Let's get that right where we can see it. Monson, can you get an overhead shot of that? There you go. You're zooming in. There you go. That's chicken and broccoli.
I didn't mean to change the recipe, but could I eat this with some rice?
Rice was optional. Is that what you're asking? No, rice is optional. That's just if you happen to want it over rice, you can go ahead and cook it with some rice.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
How's it tasting for everyone?
has anyone had a chance yet to taste it? I know. Well, we've got, is it Wadith? Wadith is scooping some into his bowl right now. It's hot. Let's taste.
It's not bad.
I need to try
Delicious.
some too. Yes. The mushroom. Perfect. Perfect.
And it's not too salty. A lot of times, keeping it healthy, low sodium. Salt is not very good for you if you overuse it.
Right.
So I think once you mix it with the onions, the mushrooms, and the broccoli, everything just comes together, and then you can taste the actual ginger and garlic.
Right.
Delicious.
Great. Good. Well, everybody, that is our recipe for tonight. You all I see some people are out there already scooping it up and getting ready to eat. Others, if you've fallen behind, take your time. Really, it all comes together in this skillet. Yes, we've got some steam going on there. You might want to turn your skillet down a little bit.
Tisha's look fire.
Tisha, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful,
Oh,
Adrian.
look, Adrian looks beautiful.
Adrian, did you add
Wow.
your chicken back in? Is it there?
Adrian
Yes.
looks better than ours.
Hey.
Look at that.
She's an aspiring chef.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, everybody, there we go. We got some plated up. Very nice. Look at that broccoli. Yes. Good job, everybody. And thank you, Chef Cesar, for being
No,
here.
thank
This
you.
has been
This
wonderful.
was a pleasure.
Okay.
I'm going now.
Look at Ray Ray.
I know. Ray Ray, wow, way
Yeah.
to go. Nice job.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, bon appetit. Enjoy your dinner tonight, and we'll see you next month with a new recipe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.